Once upon a time there was a magical child empowered by a wizard, and when he spoke, seven thunders uttered their names. But his name, ironically enough, wasn't uttered in this movie at all, because his name is Captain Marvel. But that's a discussion for another day.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing
Shazam! Alright, so, quick recap. Yeah, this is the second Captain Marvel movie, but this is the one where they couldn't call it Captain Marvel because the copyright got taken. But that's cool. The Big Red Cheese is still one of those characters that I was hesitant to see brought to the big screen. I mean, so much of his identity is a character piece. The idea of modernizing him never fully sat well with me, even though this is far from the first time we've seen it. But I have to say, I was shocked by lightning that struck. This movie was fun, it was cool, I actually had senses of dread. I almost want to give it a gold, but I'm at least going to give it a silver. And for those of you that don't know what we do around here, I analyze stories, come up with theories of storytelling, and do reviews like this. If you're interested in joining our community, either through Patreon or just here, click that subscribe button and join us as we take a look at the story of Shazam. And this is pretty much a hero's journey like every superhero, but not really. What this really is the man in a hole story. The fall, then rise. And it's the story of Dr. Savannah. Because this movie does something that a lot of comic book movies can't do. It created a good villain, even if it was a cheesy one at that. And he wasn't even my first choice for who I would want a Captain Marvel origin. I would think Black Adam. But with that, I think it's time to throw this up there.
So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. Ba-da-na-na.
So yeah, when the wizard was giving Billy his power, we totally got our first hint of who Black Adam's going to be. And don't forget, we still have The Rock signed to play him. And stick around for the end credit scenes, because The Rock's not the only DC character to get a shout out. And that's before you count all the funny little things like them talking about Batman and Superman and Aquaman. But alright, Captain Marvel at its heart is a power fantasy. What happens when you give all the power to someone who's just a kid? How does he deal with it? And of course, that changes, because kids change. But at the end of the day, the idea of Billy being pure of heart is still there. And the idea of him expanding out into the Marvel family really surprised me, because I thought we might, emphasis on might, get a Captain Marvel Jr. reference or maybe an Easter egg. But nope, open up your heart, and you've got the whole Marvel family. Shazam! The real strength of this movie, though, comes somewhere in between my criticism about pathos and bathos, comedy versus drama, and my question of when did Superman join the X-Men, both of which are videos you can watch another time. Because where this sits is how to make something gritty and somewhat realistic, but still lighthearted, without breaking the flow. In fact, one of the things that Shazam does so well is it interjects levity in scenes without breaking the suspense. Now, in and of itself, Billy is not a hero when we first meet him. He's not even really a hero halfway through the movie. He doesn't really become the hero until he realizes what he has that he could potentially lose. And it's a pretty strong case for the fact that maybe the pure of heart is the person who's going to try to fight for what's right. And maybe understanding the seven deadly sins is the greatest way to fight them. Now, all in all, this is where I would normally turn my video into what I would consider a high school book report. But I'm going to try this a little differently this week. The elements of fiction I'm just going to run through. The setting is the DC universe, very obviously the same one as Batman v Superman and all of them. The characters are the Marvel family and Savannah. The plot is your basic run-of-the-mill superhero origin. No big surprises. The point of view, we spend most of our time with either Billy or Freddy, and a little bit with the villain. The theme and symbolism, though, well, like I said, it's a power fantasy, and there's lots of little things. One of the greatest, I think, is a reference to Big, the Tom Hanks movie, where he grew up and had to be stuck in an adult body, much like Billy does in this. And again, it was just a little nod with the what's it called, the piano that you step on. And there were lots of little sight gags and lots of little things, but at the end of the day, it was all about standing up to bullies and understanding what was right and why it was right, and fighting for your family and defending your family. And I'll tell you right now, I already see a complaint that's going to be leveled against this movie. Almost every problem that Captain Marvel solves, that Shazam solves, is a problem he creates. But I think that's a strength of this story, not a weakness. But anyway, there's lots of places we could go from here. There's lots of things I wouldn't mind seeing. But as of the end of the movie, I think we all know where we're heading. Rock really wants to do this Black Adam prequel, and I'm sure they will. And I'm sure that they're going to find a way to tie it in. And there was talk about him fighting Superman. There was a great Superman cameo at the end. But then there was Mr. Mind. Oh, Mr. Mind. That's right, we're going to find a way to make a little cartoon caterpillar into a villain. Yeah, and I actually bought it. And I think it's possible. I mean, hell, why not? Like I said, so I'm giving this a silver rating. Even though I don't have much bad to say, I can understand where it wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea. But I'm curious what you think. Would you say the magic words? Would you touch my staff and say my name? Well, that really does sound creepy. Well, I'm not going to ask you to do those things. I'm going to ask you instead to like and share this video. And of course, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, because we love superheroes around here, and we love stories and learning a little bit about who and why we are telling the stories as we get to the heart of all of the stories we tell. For now, I hope you have a good night, and thanks for watching.